So what is up, Africana fam? It's your girl Young Africana back at it again with another video, and in today's video I'll be showing you guys how to achieve a flawless boho look, adding some locks to your curly wig. So without further ado, if you want to see how I achieve this look from start to finish, then keep on watching. So today's hair sponsor is from Asteria Hair. This is how the hair comes packaged in this lovely box, and we do get some goodies. We do get a milk band, some lashes, a baby hair comb, a dust bag to put your wig once you're done, and last but not least, a HD wig cap. So this is how the hair came. This is their HD 13x4 curly wig in 20 inches. As you guys can see, the lace is pre-plucked and pre-bleached. The hair is super dense from root to tip, and it does come with an adjustable band as well as 2 combs in the front and 1 in the back. Now the only thing I'm doing to the lace is tinting my lace because I am a dark skin baddie. So I gotta tint my lace to match my skin, and I'm using the I'm a Slayo Bay smeared lace tint in the color mocha. I'm only spraying 1 layer, 1 underneath the lace and 1 on top of the lace. And I'm going to let that dry, air dry of course, for about 15 minutes until it's completely dry. And this is how it looks like after just 1 layer of me spraying the lace tint. Stop using makeup and use lace tint. But now onto the experiment. These are some butterfly locks that I had laying around my house that were already pre-made. I'm so sorry I do not have the brand for you guys, but I am going to go ahead and go in sections and go ahead and define these curls. I'm using a water bottle with some water in it, a detangler brush, and my OGX Argan Oil of Morocco conditioner. I'm going to go ahead and spray all of that into my water bottle, mix it up, and then spray my hair. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's nice and damp. You don't want to oversaturate it too much because I do want it to dry pretty fast. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it's damp and the curls are just nice and, juicy and saturated enough. And then I'm going to go in with my detangler. I'm just going to go ahead and detangle those curls and kind of curve it at the end. And what I'm doing is kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. I'm going to go ahead and detangle the hair while also sewing in my locks. And how I just sew in my lock is I just sew it in through the loop, and I am sewing it to the gray part or the mesh part of the wig. I am not sewing it on the actual hair or the weft of the tracks, but onto the actual gray part or the mesh of the wig cap. So you guys just gonna go ahead and see me go ahead and do a couple of runs through the loop, and then I'm gonna tie it with a knot and wrap my thread around my needle 3 times before I go ahead and cut it, and that will just create my knot so it doesn't go anywhere. And like I said, I'm just detangling the hair. I'm going to go ahead and do that sporadically throughout the entire hair. I don't want it to be locked up completely throughout my entire hair, but I do want it to show more in the front than I do in the back. So I didn't do as many in the back than as I did in the front. I just went ahead and did probably about like 3 rows in the back, adding about 2 to 3 locks within each section that I did, and I just spaced it out. And now I'm on to the frontal part. I'm going to go ahead and add a lock in the frontal, and again you're just going to go ahead and pierce it through the lace and then pierce it through that loop through your lock, and just going to go ahead and go through it a couple of times before you finally knot it into place. And I'm just doing this all around. I am going to have a middle part, so you do want to make sure that you don't put a lock right next to your middle part. You do want to have about 2 inches away from the part of just free spacing so that it doesn't look too bulky and bumpy. And this is how everything looked like, and I let this air dry until it was completely dry before I did this install, just so I don't disturb these curls. And yeah, it's just looking so good. I did get this look inspired from Tiana Taylor because she's like the queen of like boho locks and wavy hair, so I just I decided to do that. But now on to the actual install. I'm going to go ahead and place the wig on my head, and I do like to cut some slits near my temple areas. And now I'm just going to go ahead and measure out this wig. As you guys can see, I do have some excess lace that covers over my ear, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off that excess lace and carve it where it is around my ear so it hugs my hairline. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that on both sides. And once you do this, your wig will lay a lot flatter and it will just be a lot more seamless. So once I have my wig into place, I am just going to go ahead and roll it back. And I'm using my Erica J Hold Me Down Watermelon Skin Guard. I'm going to go ahead and spray that all over my skin. And then I'm going to go in with the Erica J Watermelon Adhesive. And I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 layers of this. I like to go in sections, so I did start off with the middle first. And I'm just going to go ahead and place it in dots and then use the metal part of my rat tail comb just to smear out that glue. You do want to make sure that your glue has some width to it. So what I mean by that is that the width of your glue should be about a ½ inch to 1 inch, just so that it has some, space for it to tack onto. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you guys can see, like, it's not just like one singular line of glue. As you guys can see, I'm kind of spreading it down onto the cap and also on my skin as well. And again, I just did 2 layers. So once you let this dry completely clear, not completely dry, but once it dries completely clear, you can go ahead and add your second layer and let that dry completely clear until like it's clear and tacky. And then we're gonna go ahead and apply that lace in front of the glue. So again, I am applying the lace or applying the hairline in front of the glue just so that I can have some, room for me to, add more glue if I need to, versus trying to remove glue because the glue is in front of my lace, because it's gonna look gunky. It just don't look right, y'all. It don't. I did know that for the middle part, because of my hairline is a little bit irregular, I knew that I had a lot of space that I didn't glue down, and I did want to cut off just because I didn't want my forehead to look extremely small. So right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of parting my hair and parting it where I can see the glue is at, and then I'm using my eyebrow razor just to carve out that my hairline and everything. And I'm starting off in the middle part first. As you guys can see, I'm going a little bit higher up. Everything else, I am going to be cutting it near the hairline, but this one I had to go into my hairline because I didn't want my forehead to look extremely small. Because you know how sometimes, like you got a big old forehead and your temple area, the hair around your temple areas kind of come down lower. You don't want to compromise your forehead space and stuff. It's just not, it don't look right. I don't want my forehead to look really small. So yes, now that I'm done, I am going to go ahead and lift up the lace just to apply some of the glue that I missed out on, or that some of the lace that didn't get glued down. And I'm going to go ahead and do that 2 times and do 2 layers of it and blow dry it with warm heats just so it could be melted into the lace. And as y'all can see, this is it. This is not me melting it or anything. And now we're about to go ahead and melt it. I'm using my Fantasia Spritz Spray, and I like to use my finger just to dab it in. As you guys can see, the lace is literally disappearing in front of your eyes. Okay, it's a magic trick. Surprise! I am going to go ahead and use that melt pan and let it sit for about 15 minutes and take it off. As you can see, the lace is a little bit melted, but I did want it to be a little bit more melted, and I went in for a second round. And alongside with the spritz, I am going to be using my Erica J Fluff Stuff Mousse and applying that to further my melt. And I'm going to go ahead and apply that all around my hairline, and then wrap my hair with a tighter band that I did get off of Amazon and let that sit for about 15 minutes. And as y'all can see, it is nice and melted, and now it's on for the baby hairs. I did want to do some small natural looking baby hairs. I didn't want them to be too dramatic, so I am just going to go in with my Fluff Stuff mousse from Erica J and just do some small swoops into the hairline. And I'm going to follow the same exact process for the middle part. I am going to go ahead and carve out some small hairs in the front of my middle part, just so I can have a middle part swoop of baby hairs. And some people may not like this. This is a step you can definitely skip if you don't like it, but I feel like especially for this look. In general, I'm already a baby hair girl, but especially for this look, I think the baby hairs are definitely needed. So again, I just go ahead and use my eyebrow razor and I cut the baby hairs about a half an inch to an inch long. And then I am gonna go in with my mousse, and this time I actually went in with a different mousse because I wanted the middle hair one to be a little bit more fluffier. So I like to use the Nairobi setting lotion. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that, and then I am going to swoop my baby hairs into my hairline. And you just want to like kind of like play with it until you get your desired look. Again, everybody's baby hairs will look different doing this, so just have fun with it, play around with it until you get your desired look. As you can see, the hair just kept on getting in my way, but you just got to keep on, you know, maneuvering until you get your desired shape. And boom, y'all, I went ahead and did my face off camera, and I decided to add one more lock into my hair just because I did want one that was a little bit more closer to my part so that the block is a lot more obvious. Because especially with, like, you know, jerry curly hair or just a tighter curl, it's a bit harder to see the locks in your hair versus if I had like a loose wave. So I did want one that's like a little bit closer to the actual part, so you guys can see that lock action going into play. Okay, so I just went ahead and add this one lock into my hair. And then I'm going to go ahead and just, you know, rejudge that curls, especially in the front or in the top, because I do want them to be more defined than the rest of the curls. And again, I would just fluff up the hair, make sure that it looks nice and big and fluffy and poofy. And these are the final results. I went ahead and added some jewels and gems to my hair. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you have not. Go ahead and click that bell to get notified when I drop my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Later.